So for the past 5 years, I've been playing the Not So Berry challenge, and I've been having so much fun with playing this challenge ever since Little Simsy and Always Simmy made this challenge back in 2017. And I do have to say, it's one of my longest, most favoriteest challenges I've ever played in my entire life. And I've already completed all 10 generations, that I thought it'd be really fun to continue the legacy and do the extended version of the rules that I found on Tumblr through my friend Nixel, who's here on YouTube, who actually made 3 extra generations for whoever wants to continue off with their legacy of the Not So Berry challenge. Now, I'm currently on generation 12 at this point, and I'm currently building a house in Copperdale, which is the brand new world that we got with the high school years expansion pack. But essentially, what's so different about this one is that there's 3 extra generations, and each generation is like an actor, a gardener, and I think the last one has to be like a master vampire or whatever. But if you want to check out the original rules, one made by Little Simsy and Always Stimming, and also the extended rules by Nixel, I will link them down below in the description, along with their YouTube channels and everything like that, so you can check out all their wonderful work. But essentially, it was time for my sim of Generation 12 to move from the wonderful world, I think, of Delso Valley, no, Tartosa, to Copperdale and experience a whole new life as a teen-age werewolf. Now, like I said, I've been playing this challenge for the past 5 years since 2017, and if you have not seen all of my past generations, I will link down below the playlist in case you want to kind of catch up of the pre-recorded videos that I've done, but also all the streams that I've done of the Not So Very challenge. Because midway through of Generation 4, I was kind of getting bored of the gameplay in The Sims 4 and not really having fun with the challenge because there was not really a lot of content coming out at the time. And since then, I thought it'd be really fun to stream it on Twitch, where it was more fun and more interactive and more enjoyable to play with people in the audience watching of what I was doing, especially getting feedback from them on what I could do better with my legacy and my family. Now, I would love to know, how many generations have you had in The Sims 4, or just in general in The Sims 22 year of life? This is probably my most longest legacy family I've ever played. 12 generations is insane. Now, there's a person in my Twitch chat who goes by Black Rose, who I believe is getting close to generation 70. 70, generation 70 in The Sims 4, which is insane. I don't think I've ever seen anyone ever get that far in the game before at all, but I find it so fascinating that people still play the same family over and over and over. And I want to get to that point where I'm getting higher and higher in the generation count and see how long it can last. And playing the Not So Berry challenge gave me that freedom that I always wanted and longed for a very long time. And even though I could have done it in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, I just didn't find the true joy of continuing a legacy, because I get too attached to my Sims, and then I end up, deleting the family and starting all over again with a brand new family and doing the whole cycle over again, which makes it kind of nerve-wracking in a sense. But I think I want to definitely really bite the bullet and just continue on with the legacy and not stop until I get bored. And so far, I have not gotten bored. And a lot of people tend to get bored with their own legacies anyway, because not a lot of content, not really interesting storyline, or just kind of lost interest in the family, which 9 times out of 10 happens to a lot of us, which is sad, but it happens. It happens. But for me, I think for this generation, what was so different is that they are a werewolf, and we got a new pack literally at the same exact time when we aged up my Gen 12 sim, which, by the way, their name is Bella Berry, and I did name my Gen 12 sim after Bella Swan from Twilight. And the fact that they're a werewolf, I was like, wait a minute, Renesmee, Bella Swan, Jacob, whatever his last name, Jacob Black. I was like, what was his last name again? I do not remember. But I was full in the Twilight mode back then. I was like, hey, Bella, where'd you been, Loca? Type of vibe. So Bella Berry was born into the world. Their mother is Rory, and their father is Judd Berry, who so happened to be a very world famous actor in Delso Valley for a very long time, but lived in Tartosa and had a very, very messy life, had a one-night stand with Rory. And Gen 12 is so messed up that they have a very interesting life that I found quite unique and quite insane, that I want to read you the rules and the storyline of Generation 12. That way you can kind of get an understanding of why Gen 12 is the way they are. So the storyline goes, growing up in the shadows of your parents' spotlight was a little hard for you. Although you knew how much they loved you and tried their best to spend free moment with you, you still felt alone. Thankfully, being a part of the Scout Club gave you the sense of family, which you deeply cherish. Scout clubs also made you truly fall in love with the outdoors. Being out in nature didn't make you feel like you were alone anymore, which is why camping became something you love to do. There were tales that in the deep woods of Granite Falls, a hermit resides away from everyone, so naturally the curious being you were had found out yourself. Forever alone felt like a motto you started to live by and thought you'd never get married like your parent. But someone finally came along and you were really happy the way life was heading. Unfortunately, down the road, things didn't end up working out. You've always secretly had this crazy idea of making a robot best friend since you were a kid. The thought of having a robot who was there for you every waking moment felt like something you needed in your life. So it was time to make a crazy idea a reality. Now, I really love storytelling more than anything. As you all know, storytelling is my thing. I will put a story behind a build, a sim, whatever it might be, I will do it. And so the Not So Very challenge was adding in a storyline with the sense of a challenge and careers and aspirations made it more fun for me to kind of continue on each and every generation. Even if there wasn't a storyline, I would make something up and really go along with it and maybe change it here and there along the way. But this one is so more chaotic than I've ever played because there's so much you have to do. Your traits are love the outdoors, loner, and erratic. Your aspiration is outdoor enthusiast. Your career is a gardener. But here are the goals that you have to complete. Join the Scout Club as a child and a teen and get promoted to the Lamacon Scout level 5. Master the outdoor enthusiast aspiration. Master the gardening career until the floral design branch. Master gardening and flower arranging skill, complete the insect collection, have a pet cow plant, master the herbalism skill, but you must craft each recipe at least once, and there's 13 of them. Master the robotics skill and create your robot best friend, have one failed relationship and at least have one child with them, and go into the deep woods and meet and befriend the Hermit of Granite Falls. Now, that entire thing is so crazy and chaotic that I just cannot wrap my head around on how many things I had to do to get to where I needed to go today. Now, at this point of me like recording this video, I've done a lot of different streams of Gen 12 that you already probably have seen if you were there, but not on YouTube, that I've already completed the Scout Club, already straight through. I'm basically 1/4 away done from completing the aspiration. My gardening, flower arranging, robotic, and herbalism skill are getting close to level, I think, 7 altogether, or somewhere in that range. We just joined the gardener career. We already have a pet cow plant. We are getting close to completing the insect collection, and we're also getting close to completing the herbalism skill with the recipes, but it's so hard getting all the ingredients because it just turned winter into the game, so it's very hard to grow literally anything. But we're gonna make a deal. We're gonna get through it, get the whole through, and do what we gotta do to make it happen. But essentially, if you all have played through the Not So Very challenge, or at least attempted and got maybe to a generation 1 or 2 and quit afterwards, let me know, because getting an experience and getting like an insight from other people who have played this challenge is really fun. And I know Little Simsy is playing this on her Twitch channel, and I think she's on close to generation 4 or 5 at this point. And watching her play through differently of my playthrough is very inspiring to see like what she's done, what I've done, and like what other people have done as well. But I think everyone's gameplay style is very different, and I think what's so unique about challenges in general, if you don't like a certain rule, just take it out and go with the flow. Because I think the end all be all type of like vibe is play the game that you want to play and like enjoy the challenge the way you want to enjoy it. Like if you don't like a certain skill or career, don't do that skill, don't do that career. Change it up a bit, change the rules to make it fun for you so you're not stressed out every 5 seconds like I usually am. But honestly, though, I don't think I would ever have made it this far with this legacy if I didn't stay consistent with taking breaks in between each and every other gen so I don't burn myself out, and kind of make it fun for me with adding new packs, new skills, new wardrobes, new names, and involving my community into the mix made it more fun and more enjoyable for me to like continue on. But when I found out that my sim was going to have a werewolf baby, that I was like, whoa, 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 something's gonna happen here. We're gonna change a few things. I thought, Bella Berry, was like that champion who had literally anything and everything to their disposal. They had a werewolf mother who would never like leave them alone, but I think Rory's also immortal at this point. But then we also have a celebrity, father. And what's so sad about this is that I had to move in Jed into our household because each gen I try to keep all the original photos and knickknacks and paddywhacks and collectibles to the next gen. That way I don't lose stuff and kind of forget what I missed. Plus also collect the urn as well. I pretty much have every single urn of every single generation from Gen 1 to now. And Judd's not dead yet because I wanted him to live a little bit longer to see his grandchild, which is Gen 13, who has to be a vampire, might I add. And us being a werewolf for Bella Berry and having to have a vampire baby is going to be rather difficult, but we're going to make it work and hope for the best that it will, last a little bit longer. Because I want to be able to have where and, Bella and Gen 13 to be born and be immortal and live so long in their lineage that they'll be able to see generation 30 at some point if I ever get that far. Because I really, really, really want to be able to get as far as I can, because I don't know if I mentioned it or not at this point, but one of my community members in my Twitch chat named by Black Rose is getting close or already on generation 70 in their legacy in The Sims 4, which is insane. And I want to aspire to be them and complete at least to Gen 50 or Gen 70 at the most. Because if you didn't know this, in the game, there's actually achievements you can complete. Because every time you go into a new save or you play for a certain amount of time, you get these pop-ups on the screen saying you've traveled to 20 different lots, or you have played The Sims 4 for 5 hours or whatever. Those are achievements you are in the game. And what I find so funny is that every new save file, you get those same achievements because new save, new game time, 5 hours pass by, you play The Sims 5 for 5 hours or whatever. And there's one single achievement that I really love is that you can achieve, I think, legacy or legendary legacy or whatever. And it says play at least 100 generations in a single family lineage. And I want to be able to achieve that so badly because I like to complete goals and I have goals set in mind that I want to be able to get to and finish and maybe possibly continue on if it's possible. I don't really know. But regardless, I think what I find so fun and so creative about different legacy challenges is that they're always different and they're never the same unless stated otherwise. But like you have like the Rags to Riches challenge, you have the Not So Berry, you have the A to Z baby challenge, the Rainbow Legacy challenge, the big sis. Like there's a lot of challenges in the Sims community that they're so broad and so different that you can change them however you want, but also have like that sense of story that you're longing for your Sims gameplay. And what I find so unique about legacies is that if you don't like a certain generation or you don't like a certain career, do something different. And I thought it'd be really fun to do where each generation is a different challenge, but you're following one set of rules and not all of them. So let's say you're doing Rags to Riches. You do Rags to Riches for Gen 1, and then you want to do Generation 3 of the Not So Berry Challenge for Gen 2. It can be relatively confusing, but I think if you kind of combine it and kind of put it together and organize it to make sense for you, I think it'll be fun for everyone else. I don't know if that makes any sense, but regardless, I think legacies and challenges can be challenging, but also equally fun if you make them fun for you. But let's go ahead and go into the real-time tour so I can show you the main status and the main structure that is this tiny home in Copperdale. And let me tell you, it's a piece of work. So I wanted to show you the house midway through my gameplay, just because that way you can kind of get a sense of what I'm working with at the current moment midway through of Generation 12, which is the brown gen, and my sim is named Bella Berry, named after Bella Swan from Twilight. But essentially, my home is the way it was when you saw it in the video, but if you want to download it, it's already up on the gallery, pretty much with less stuff, but over time, I did add a few extra things like the cow plant over here and a few extra gardening plots and stuff like that. But essentially, if you want it the way it was from a tiny home version with less simoleons, it's up there. But I really love this house just because it's small, it's quaint, it's only 98 tiles out of 100. So there's extra, like, tiny home benefits out of it. So you really have a lot of perks when you're downloading tiny homes in The Sims 4. But essentially, the home itself is quite quaint, quite small. You got your living room right here, you got your kitchen over here, which is a small little dining room island. We have the bathroom over here, which is very small. I should have made this smaller now that I think about it, but too late now. But then over here, I have like the cat stuff over here with a little armchair. And then upstairs is where Bella and Judd sleep at the moment because there's only 2 Sims and they don't got that much room or much money to spend to really afford, a bigger home at the moment. But I made sure that this room is fit for all sleeping and working and other things as well. Now, I moved into this home when I was a teenager with Bella just because we were pretty much already done with Generation 11 at that point, and I thought being a teen runaway werewolf made so much sense that we might as well live by ourselves in Copperdale. And when we got here, we supposedly graduated early because we already had good skills and good aspirations, and we just had a good head on our shoulders through our grades. So we basically graduated early and didn't really get to experience the whole high school life, which is totally fine. I mean, this is our diploma right here, the high school diploma, which is wonderful. But here we have is Bella Berry, who is Generation 12. And then we have Judd Berry, who is Generation 11, who's an elder at the moment. But what's so sad is that we had to basically push back his life lineage age to the beginning so that way he could live a little bit longer to see Generation 13 to be born. But Bella Berry is a young adult at the moment who is basically a werewolf and still has acne because they just aged up into a young adult literally last night in the game. So we have a lot of work to do when it comes to our career, our aspiration. Like right at the moment, we're basically on the last leg of our aspiration right now on 3 out of 4. And we just started our career. So we're at literally level 3 of our career. And then our skills base is flower engine at level 6, gardening at level 6, and then herbalism at level 6, and then our robotic skills at level 4. Now, I want to try and get to the end of our skills before we become an adult. That way we don't really have to focus on the skill base, more so on the career base, which is I want to really focus on more often and try and push through all of that. But essentially, that is our sim, that is our house, that is our life, and this is what we have at the moment. But again, if you want to download it, it's on the gallery. It's under my gallery name, which is SpringSims, or under the same hashtag, SpringSims on the gallery. But either way, as always, I do hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments below, as always, of what you thought of this house. But also, have you played the Not So Berry Challenge before? If you have, let me know. I will also be linking down the playlist and all the rules to each, the original and the extended version, so you can play it for yourself. But either way, as always, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!